Hey traders, this is Blake Morrow with Trader Summit, and I have Mr. Richard Dickey Matthews from One.io is joining us today, and he's going to talk Bank of England, and we're going to spar a little bit on the dollar. So how you
Yeah,
doing, Mr. Matthews?
I'm very well looking forward to the Bank of England, as I always do, because I just love them.
Okay. Okay. Now, first of all, if you're lucky enough or you're subscribed to this channel, which is free to subscribe, and you hit the bell icon so you've been notified that this video has come out. If you are lucky enough to have done that, you should be able to watch this video ahead of the Bank of England. The reason why I say that is because, some of us will be sleeping and I won't, be witnessing exactly what's happening with the Bank of England. But in your view, why are you so elated and excited to witness what the Bank of England has to bring to us tomorrow?
Oh, because they give me endless amusement. And of course, they've got the wonderful, I can never pronounce his name properly, Ben Bernanke, now advising them. And what a great pedigree that man has got to advise another central bank on their shortcomings. Funnily enough, we're not going to get a move tomorrow. I think you'll get a dovish statement from the Bank of England. Although there's still, I think one or two of them still would like to see rates higher, which I find extraordinary. But that's the general feeling. They think the inflation's under control. Blah 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 blah. Energy prices dropping, so all good there. Sunak's going to be disappointed because he would love to see rates coming down. So he's facing a nasty election. I thought what was interesting to me was Lord King of Lothbury, which is previously Governor Mervyn King, who is a very good governor, in my opinion, came out last week and said that the Bank of England had been asleep at the wheel over inflation and had missed money supply increasing, the velocity of money supply increasing when it did a couple of years back. And I thought that was really interesting because I'm, going back over the years, it's something which we used to, I know when US money supply is released, it might be on a Friday night, but we used to work really late on a Friday night waiting for that number to come out and got used to money supply driving inflation or slowing inflation down. And it's increasing in the UK. And I think inflation is far from dead here. And I think that if they do cut rates, which I suspect is nailed on for August, September, they're going to be making another mistake. So I don't think you'll see anything tomorrow. They might hint on forward guidance that you're going to get a cut soon. If you're going to get one in September, I think they're making a mistake again if they do that.
Yeah, and I do remember Merv King. He was the mid 2000s specifically.
Yeah,
I know he went through the financial crisis, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah.
Yeah. Where, as far as the Bank of England goes, where's the misstep going to be tomorrow?
I'm not sure they'll make a misstep tomorrow. I think they'll signal to the market that rates are going to come down. And I'm not sure that's the right thing to do. To me, it was just another sell sign for sterling. I don't know how much political pressure. I don't know what his politics are, Bailey, actually. I don't know whether he's Conservative or Labour or whatever. But there must be some pressure on from the politicians who want to see rates lower right the way across the board. So I think he'll intimate that something's going to happen sooner rather than later. I actually think it will happen later rather than sooner. As I said, September. But, look at money supply and look at money supply in the US.
Yeah. Well, you think that based on what you're telling me right now, the based on votes from the MPC tomorrow, it might lean a little bit dovish,
Yeah,
or negative, but it should be going the other direction. They should be leaning the other direction, and it might be to their own peril, or yours, matter of fact, in the UK.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I don't think anyone, although one did come out and say they think that a quarter point hike might be in order. And I can't remember who it was and whether actually on the MPC, but a senior member of the bank said that. I think, as you know, I've been saying now for God knows how long, that I still think that the top of interest rates isn't in, certainly in America, and where America leads, the rest of the world follows. And if inflation isn't dead and they cut rates, then you could get a real mess starting to come out. And they're similar to the US, actually, because you've got the election on bonfire night, when we'll be having Guy Fawkes celebrating him, trying to blow up parliaments on November the 5th. You'll all be out there voting. But I think you've got a similar problem there with politics starting to get involved.
Yeah, and yeah, there's going to be increasing pressure for the Fed. I forget what bank it was that I read this morning that was looking for a rate cut to start in September. I'm like, really? Right? Like the month before the election, but how much pressure is put on these central banks, including the Bank of England, and it might be to our own detriment, right?
Yeah, and I don't know whether it's even just like psychological. Not saying that, you know, the Treasury or the Prime Minister or Biden's ringing up saying cut rates, do this, do that. You know, but I think psychologically there's that thought process there, and certainly from Jay Powell's point of view, the thought of Trump getting back in must be quite petrifying. Is he going to appoint himself onto the FOMC, Trump, or is he's talking some utter nonsense about?
No, he's involved. I think he's gonna find. Well, first of all, if you want my opinion, which I probably shouldn't voice it here, but I do believe if Trump is reelected, I think he'll get rid of Bernanke. See, you did that. That was your fault. He'll get rid of Powell. Just because he wants a weaker dollar, and I think even though he appointed Powell, he's going to put somebody in there that he can give more of a directive to work against the dollar. I think that's going to be his play. Now, as far as if it was Biden that won, I don't know. I mean, but I do think even though Trump appointed Powell, he would remove him immediately and get somebody that will listen to him. Because I think Powell got to that point, especially towards the end of the Trump presidency, that he did what he thought he would do best, or what was best for the United States. Yeah. Maybe didn't take the political pressure so well, and I think he's going to find somebody that would, and that would be my view.
And actually, quite honestly, if you were Powell, I think I'd get out.
Right. I mean, do you really want to?
The way Trump attacked him last time around, and he's not going to come back in. Yeah, he's going to be emboldened if he
exactly
wins.
Like, do you as a a very wealthy, which he is, a central banker, do you really want to put up with that? I mean,
no.
No matter
you wouldn't, would you?
No matter how good you want to do for the overall good of the world, it's like I wouldn't want to deal with that either. And that's, I don't even know if I'd want to deal with it in general. It didn't matter who president was, but yeah, knowing the pressure that was put on him last time, he may bow out,
and whether that influences him and he pushes rates lower because of that. The other I thought was interesting. Did he have a sneak preview of non-farm payrolls last week? Did they have an inkling they were going to come in a bit weaker?
Well, I don't know, and they say, I think I forget what central banker said, what FOMC member said, that they didn't have a view, they didn't see the data beforehand, but they
would say that, wouldn't they?
Would, of course they would.
Let's be honest.
So let's stop the speculation. Well, we're going to continue to speculate, but let's talk a little bit about the dollar. I'm a little, how should I say, neutral the dollar, but I'm leaning more bearish. I have a couple of dollar shorts on, and I think that U.S. data is going to start to show weakness, and we've seen it in just some of the data over the last couple of weeks, and I think that's going to be a pretty common trend here in the U.S. moving forward. However, you are not a dollar bear. You are still a dollar bull, right? So explain to me why, and shoot holes and why I shouldn't be.
I'm still a dollar bull. I am still pretty bullish on the dollar, or bullish on the dollar. PCE is out next Wednesday, is it?
It's going to be CPI next Wednesday.
CPI next Wednesday. I think that going back to cutting, which I don't think he's going to do, but I think he would want to see at least 2, if not 3 consecutive months of weak data, be it unemployment and inflation data. I just don't think you're going to get that. I don't think inflation's dead. I think that the CPI number might surprise again. And on that basis, if I'm looking at the majors, I'm looking at the dollar against the euro, that they're nailed on to cut in June. I think that's absolute given. As I said earlier, I think that the Bank of England will hint that they're going to cut it, and they're going to cut earlier than the Fed's going to cut. So just on interest rate differentials, I think that I'm a buyer of the dollar over those two. Dollar yen, God knows what's going on in Japan. You can never read what's going on there. So fundamentally, I still quite like the dollar. I still think the world is a very perilous place at the moment. I think it's far from over in Israel. I think that there's potentially more problems going through the Red Sea. Oil's quite weak. I could see that squeeze back up again. So I think there's certainly plenty of reasons for inflation and plenty of reasons to buy the dollar out of a flight to quality.
Well, we have equity markets at, or near all-time highs, and you see a lot of European markets continue to grind out new highs. I mean, even your own FTSE is moving
amazing.
It is amazing. It's spent like so many years just kind of not breaking out, and then finally here it goes. It breaks out. But you say flight to safety or flight to quality. I mean, with equity markets they're at highs here, you think that that's going to change?
Yeah, I do. Although I'm nervous of equity markets. Warren Buffett, love him or loathe him, has got an amazing track record, and he's been unloading Apple. And I think I read somewhere last week, what do I invest in with PEs at such high levels? I can get 5% plus on deposit. Why would I want to come into the market at this level? And he's absolutely right. And if he's unloading Apple, he's seen something in there that he doesn't like. And that makes me very nervous of equities. And he may be wrong, but I just think that he fundamentally is a pretty sound guy to follow. And he has very sound principles. And he's absolutely right. Why would I invest in equities on very high PEs, on ridiculous earnings forecasts, when I can get 5+% on deposit? So I think I'm nervous of equities.
Well, Richard, I want to say thank you for spending your time with us here at Traders Summit. I know you're going to be packing your bags and traveling a little bit here in the coming days. So I want to wish you a wonderful trip. But
thank you.
But I know you're going to have your phone with you, your computer with you, and you're still going to be posting things. So what's the best way for traders to follow your work?
You can find me at Dickie Matthews with a 5 instead of the S on Twitter, or at One, which is our Twitter handle for One, or on LinkedIn. And I think next week we've got Mr. Brown joining us, which is always my highlight of the month, to have a chat with my two best buddies in the market and take the mickey out of the youngster.
Oh, yes. Well, I'm excited for that too. And I'll look forward to catching up with you next week with Mr. Brown and yourself. So Richard, thanks for joining us today. Really appreciate your insights, especially ahead of the Bank of England. Safe travels, and we'll talk to you next week.
See you next week. Cheers, Blake. Bye-bye now. Bye.
Hey traders, Blake Morrow here. Thanks for stopping by our YouTube channel. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Also click the bell notifications so you do not miss any of our market-related trading analysis from some of the leading industry experts. Thanks for stopping by. We'll see you in the next video.